there's a lot of very tense, like heavy scenes with a lot of dialogue. A lot of the times it was about restraint. It was about not moving the camera and just sitting, letting the audience sit uncomfortably in this tense, awkward, creepy conversation. And the performances were so strong that we, a lot of times, didn't need to do much. But, I feel like sometimes when you don't move the camera, you really increase that tension. So that was a tool that we use a lot of practicing that restraint.
If you've given them your seeing, then the parents would have the knowing of where their girls are. They could move on.
James, you're not thinking clearly. If I did that, then I would never get out of here.
You could. What if someone could send the locations of the girls to the authorities, like, anonymously?
Why?
They just did. Then the families would know. They would have that.
But why should they have that?
Because they're probably hurting pretty bad, Larry.
James! James. You're always me, just like Gary. Oh my God.
You gotta give these people some release.
What did you say? Say that again.
Give these people some release.
Never.
So I was a very creative kid growing up. I just had a lot of creative energy. So I was always, putting on plays or circuses or puppet shows or photo shoots with my Barbies. It was always like a big production. So when I was like 10, my parents got a home video camera, like VHS camcorder, and I got my hands on it and my head exploded. I'm like, okay, this is another tool in the arsenal to create things. So I started to basically take the plays that I was already doing on stage, these children's plays, and making them into little movies. So it was really from that point that really it was just etched in my brain, this idea of telling stories with a camera and the idea of just being behind the camera. Yeah, so I didn't go to film school. I'm pretty much self-taught. I had a pretty winding path. My first job was at a TV station shortly out of college. I majored in mass communications. It was sort of the closest thing I could find to film at the time. And then that led to camera operating for live sports. And then, eventually I just started to do projects on my own, started to shoot short films, and then, finally, found cinematography and started to focus on that, and cut to now. Blackbird was the start in television. It was my first TV series. Before that, I'd shot, features and commercials, music videos, documentaries. And Blackbird just kind of came out of the blue. A producer that I'd worked with before recommended me to the team, and I hit it off with the Blackbird team, and we went from there. I got the opportunity to shoot the whole series, so I shot all 6 episodes. And there's stuff from all of them that I'm very proud of. And I picked 3 because I felt like it was the most representative of the entire series, the look of the whole series. We get to our main prison location. Jimmy and Larry meet for the first time. So yeah, I just felt like it was symbolic of the whole series. Restraint was a big thing of not always, because I think sometimes in heavy dialogue scenes, the impulse could be to like move the camera because it needs something, but the idea was just to do the opposite a lot of the time, to really increase the tension by just really sinking into that weird, dark dialogue. And then when we did move the camera, whether it was a push in or what have you, it really meant something, and you felt it. And the reason that I picked large format, because I felt like it was a tool that allowed us to really, immerse the audience inside those conversations, and to really make this prison world feel expansive, and also to sort of create a kind of like landscape, if you will, with the characters' faces. So you could really feel like every subtle expression, every reaction that Jimmy had to Larry, because Jimmy had to play a lot of that down. He couldn't really react the way he really wanted to, or he would be caught. So it was really letting the audience feel those small, subtle, nuanced things. There were many challenges, being the only cinematographer across 6 episodes was a challenge in and of itself. And we did not shoot, by episode. We pretty much block shot the whole series, making sure everything was, matched and very, consistent throughout, and that I was able to track all the visual arcs. Yeah, that was a challenge over just such, a long amount of time. It was like 6 or 7 months on this project. And shooting, another one that sticks out is just shooting in a real prison for that long. And it was not operational. It was a jail in New Orleans. We shot all this in New Orleans, and this jail closed down after Hurricane Katrina, so it hasn't been operational since then. But still real nonetheless, and a lot of just restrictions of how we could rig lighting and such. So we had to come up with a lot of workarounds, to make to be able to light things in a certain way and get control of the lighting in the way that we wanted to. And then it's just, physically, like in those cells, it's just very small. It's not like, when you're on a stage, you can fly out a wall. We had a couple of camera portals, one in Jimmy's cell and one in Larry's, that we could stick the camera through. But other than that, when the camera's in there, it's really in there, and it's, it's crammed up, it's tight. And finding ways to make that really look good and feel elevated, but still natural, and maintaining that texture and grittiness. Because the cells are just like 4 white walls, so that in and of itself is always a challenge. It feels great. It's really surreal. I had to check the webpage a few times and make sure I was seeing things right. But yeah, I'm just really so honored, that my first TV series, I would get an Emmy nomination, and I'm just excited about it. And I attribute a lot of this work to the crew. I had such a phenomenal crew by my side, and yeah, I'm nothing without them. So yeah, I'm just really, proud of the work and excited about it all. I actually just wrapped a film about a week ago, shooting in New York. It's a film called The Shallow Tale of a Writer Who Decided to Write About a Serial Killer. So another serial killer movie, but quite the opposite of Blackbird. This isn't true crime. It's a dark comedy. It's starring Steve Buscemi and John Magaro and Britt Lauer. And I think it'll be out sometime next year. So currently I'm just decompressing from that and taking a break and reading scripts, seeing what's next. Oh, so many things. I love just being able to discover and create a new visual language for each project. I just think that's just so exciting to try to find new ways to tell new stories, and how each project is so totally different from the next. And what really gets me off too is just finding ways to transform emotions to imagery, and using the tools of cinematography like focal length, framing, color, lighting, all of those things, to express emotion and make people feel a certain way, and maybe put them in another perspective that they hadn't experienced before, or see life in a new way. And that really just keeps me going, and that's why I keep coming back.